Hello everyone, I'm here to tell you about how my house is haunted. You're probably thinking, wow, she says you're probably thinking in a lot of her videos. Sorry. But for real, I know that a lot of my videos aren't serious, but this is like a totally true 100% real story. I actually came to work to film this because I tried to film this at home, but that didn't work out too well. So I decided to come here because I thought I would feel more comfortable talking openly about what happens to me at my house. I realized though anyway that my manager put a bunch of pictures of dead people on the set, so that's fun. Actually, say hello to Mr. and Mrs. Corncob. I'm just going to go through and try to quickly tell you each story. There's a bunch of reasons why I think my house is haunted. And then I'm gonna make a part 2 to this video where I'm gonna try to have my friends come over and see if, I don't know, they can find a ghost, I guess. This is Boy Genius. Very comfortable around him. I had a friend. We were super close, and we had a falling out and didn't talk anymore. Like, we were inseparable. That's not super important, but it's kind of important. Okay, so a couple months after our falling out, we actually did a show together. We both got hired at the same theater to do a show together to play brother and sister, and it was totally fine. We got along and everything like was great. So a couple months later, that show's over. We don't talk anymore. So sometime after that, I was in my room and I hear a tapping like a fingernail on my window. Like, it sounded like a fingernail, but I just assumed it's a bird, it's some sort of animal just outside my window. I do live on the second story of my house, but I feel like stuff gets near my window all the time, so I wasn't concerned. And this is at night. Everyone in my house was in bed. So a couple minutes later, I hear again. I'm like, okay, probably just a bird. And then one more time, I hear, and I think, okay, so I open my blinds really fast, and there's nothing there. So I think, okay, maybe I scared it away. I look out just to like check my neighborhood. No extra cars, I don't hear anyone moving. I'm like, okay, probably an animal. So I lay back down, I close my blinds, lay back down, and then a couple minutes later, I hear slower, like it's a person. So I freaked out because of course I sit in bed and I imagine like these scary faces being outside my window at all times. So at this point I'm kind of scared, but I open my blinds really fast, no one there. I'm like, okay, this is really odd. I'm seriously gonna go to bed. I'm just gonna ignore it. And then I hear again, slow. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what it could possibly be. I'm freaked out at this point. I just think, you know what? I'm gonna go downstairs. I leave everything in my room the same. I leave the lights on, because if it's a person, I want them to think I'm still in the bedroom so they don't, whatever. So I go downstairs and I go into this room that's kind of by a back window. After I came downstairs from my bedroom, I laid on this couch that's behind me, right here. And the window's over there. Okay, so I lay down on that couch and I did turn the TV on. So I turned the TV on and I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and watch TV. And then, after about 5 minutes maybe, I heard this huge, someone banging on the back door. When you turn the camera around, you can see this window. And this is the noise I heard. I stand up and I look towards the back door, and the back porch light isn't on, so I can't see anyone. And I immediately yell for my parents, and I'm like, Mom, Dad, Mom, Dad.
And all of a sudden, she heard someone banging on the door, which I vaguely recall hearing because you can hear all that from upstairs.
You heard that? I don't remember that part of the story.
So her dad got up with a flashlight and, you know, went outside and checked around the house, and we never did find anything.
And we didn't hear any cars driving away either, right?
And we didn't hear anything driving away. We didn't hear anyone running away. And we checked all the windows, and we even I believe he checked upstairs because we're thinking that either they were throwing something at her window from down below, or they had actually climbed on that little roof part that's just below her second story window. But there was just no evidence that there was even anybody out there.
I thought the only person I know who would think that this kind of thing is funny is my friend that I had a falling out with. So I texted him, I'm like, hey, if you're outside my house, this is not funny. I don't know how you even did it. Is this you? And he texted back and he said, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I would never do that. I don't even think he was in town at the time. And only person I could imagine who might slightly think that's a funny thing to do at I don't know, 3 a.m. in the morning. So do you have a theory on what you think happened? Because I don't. I'm really just asking you now.
Yeah, not really. Not really. We just figured maybe it was some boy that was,
You thought it was redacted. What's his face? Who I talked about earlier, who I thought did it.
That's what we thought. Someone that had been doing a couple little crazy things that kind of liked her.
God, if he sees this and you just call him crazy on camera.
So we assumed he wasn't really crazy. He just liked Brianna.
He was crazy. And, Mom, that's not nice. This portrait reminds me of that creepy Hicktown religious family from Cabin in the Woods. So that's great. I've experienced 3 things moving. One time I went to bed after I got home from work. It was like, again, probably a little after 2 a.m. because I worked at a bar. And I filled up my cat's water dish, put it down, noticed there were no cats in my room, so I closed my door, laid down, and I heard a little like metal sliding on wood, and I was like, what was that? And I sit up and I look, and the water in the dish is moving back and forth, and the water dish has moved probably about a foot, and I did not sleep that night. Another time, I was laying in bed and a water bottle rolled across the floor. I did see that, although water bottle has some water in it, the air, that could have moved on its own. I'll give you that one. Another time, this time I was home alone. I was downstairs facing that wooden table that I just showed you that's by the back door, looking for my cat because I had to give him a pill, and I'm looking directly at it, and my sister had a phone case with no phone in it, sitting in the middle of the table, flew off the table into the kitchen in front of my eyes. I'll show you how it looked. Except without my hand, obviously. No joke, I stood there, pulled out my phone, and I called my mother, who is out of town at, again, probably around 1, 2 in the morning, and I woke her up, and I said, Mom, please help me.
Her dad and I were out of town. She called us in the middle of the night. Not in the middle of the night, I don't remember.
I think it was like 2.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, to say that a phone case flew off the table all by itself.
You act like you don't believe me. Why would I wake you up at... How often do I just call you at 2 a.m. to wake you up for no reason?
And I'm not saying that she's imaginative, but I'm pretty sure her dad and I kind of figured, whatever.
Oh my God, they didn't believe me. So one day I was in my bedroom, laying down in bed, as I often do because I'm a lazy piece of garbage, and my cat was sitting on the floor facing the wall, and behind the wall she was looking at was my closet. I opened Snapchat and I filmed my cat, and I filmed her looking at the wall, and then I said, Artie, and she quickly looked over at me. I said, come here, baby. And then she jumped on me and she lay down on my stomach. I was like, good girl. That's what I said in the video. I posted it to my story. I get a message from my ex-boyfriend saying, hey, in that Snapchat, were you watching TV? And I said, no. And he said, is anybody else home with you? And I said, no. Why? And he said, you should probably go back and listen to that Snapchat again because you can hear something weird in it. So I looked at my story and I played it. And after I say, Artie, come here, no joke, you could hear a voice whispering. And I showed this video to a ton of people, like no joke, so at least 50 people can back me up on this. And I would play the video for people and I would say, that whispering voice that you hear in the middle, what does it say? I wouldn't tell them what I thought it said. I said, what does it say? And no shit, every single person heard roughly the same thing, and the voice said, she knows there's something in the wall. I really would love to show you this video, but I swear this happened before Snapchat memories were a thing, so I had downloaded the video directly to my phone so I could show people. And I was on my way to Tennessee with my friends and my phone died, just completely gone. I wasn't able to save anything that was on my phone when I got a new phone because it got all messed up. So unfortunately I can't play that, but I swear, I know, very convenient that I don't have the evidence to prove it, but I swear it happened. This next one happened to my sister. Me and Madison were home sitting on the couch. The TV was not on. I had headphones in and I was watching, you guessed it, Vines. Why? I hate myself.
Yeah, I was sitting there, Brandon was sitting here, and I like jumped because I heard a male voice, and it wasn't like outside, because I mean it was what, like 9 o'clock? So yeah, and I like jumped and I freaked out for a second, and I was like, Brandon, did you hear that? And she like, you had headphones in or something, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. So I like, I'm almost positive I heard it in the front door, like in that area.
When I finished recording Madison, like telling her little testimony about what happened, I turned on the camera and I started moving stuff, and she said, oh, you don't want me to talk about that other thing that happened? And I did not remember what she was talking about, so I'm gonna go ahead and have her explain that now.
Oh! Well, the way our rooms are set up is like, here's the staircase, here's my room, and then down a little hallway, about like maybe 10 feet away is Brandon's room on the other side. So, okay, so remember, it was like, I heard laughing in the middle of the night, like loud laughing. Like someone was like in front of our front door, like laughing. I didn't think it was weird because I figured, oh, they could just be in the street, like laughing really loud. Because we have like kids in our neighborhood and behind our house as well, but it was in the front. And I like looked at my phone or whatever, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Like it was in the middle, the witching hour is what time it was. Whatever. First I thought it was weird. I was like, that's really loud. Like, why is, but like it wasn't loud, but it was close loud. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I know Brandon doesn't sleep very well, like literally anything can wake her up, even me like coughing. And then she's like, she'll come in my room if I cough, she's like, are you okay? Oh my god, is your blood sugar low? Okay. And the next day I said, Brandon, you didn't hear that last night? Because she wakes up easily, so I figured she would have heard it. And Brina's room is like right in front, like her window is like facing the front yard. Mine's facing the backyard. So I figured if anyone heard it, it would have been her. I was like, oh, Brina, did you hear anything last night? And you're like, yeah, but it was like nothing. And I was like, what did you hear? She goes, I just heard laughing. And I was like, you heard that too? Where did you hear it? She goes, I heard it in the backyard. And I said, I heard it in the front yard. So like the only thing in the middle is our hallway. So we both heard laughing. And then I was like, what time did you hear it? And you said like, oh, like 3, 4 o'clock. And I was like, it was at 3, 4 o'clock.
Oh my god.
Which means we heard the same laughing.
I mean, I knew that happened
and it was like a lot. Like it wasn't like a ha, like someone like was walking, which would be weird that they're outside at 3 o'clock in the morning regardless. But it was like a lot of laughing. And then you can tell me the time that you heard moaning.
What? We have this cuckoo clock in my house. It's an antique. It belonged to my great aunt Carolyn, I believe. We moved into this house when I was 2 years old. We've had the cuckoo clock on the wall in the same spot since we moved in. So the clock does not work. It has a pendulum. You have to hit the pendulum so hard to get it to start ticking. It ticks until a certain time and then it stops working again. That's just what it does. In all the time that we have lived there, the cuckoo clock has never, in 21 years, gone off on its own. I was home with my sister Madison, her boyfriend, and my mother when the cuckoo clock just started ticking. And that can be confirmed by my mother as well. This is the cuckoo clock. As you can see, this stuff is all in front of the pendulum. So there's really no way you can accidentally run into it. So I'll just show you real quick. There's the pendulum. You have to like push it. Spooky. Theory time. In one of the rooms in my house, we have a Bible. And the Bible is from the 1800s, and it is from my dad's side of the family. It's like a huge Bible. I'll show it to you. And it was passed down from my dad's side of the family. Now, I'm not going to say exactly what they did, but they may or may not have been great people all the way down the line. We got some racism and some murders, maybe. I'm not trying to like blasphemize my own family, but you know, older generations were a little funky sometimes. So that Bible, I don't like being near it. It's in a glass case, and maybe it's haunted? This is my family's blood Bible. It was not always at our house. My grandmother used to have it, and then my sister, from some God knows why reason, wanted it at her wedding. So we've actually had it in our house since my sister's wedding about 2 years ago, maybe. It has not been opened since, and I'm going to cut this. This isn't old rope. This is like my mom put it on it. Okay, that makes sense. Who is that? Oh my God, who are these people? I did not know this was here. I'll show you close-up pictures of these in a second. But there are some old pictures of people who I guess are from my family. Oh my God, there are more. Honestly, some of these look like they could be post-mortem pictures. You know, like in the olden days when they would basically set people up in chairs and like make it look like they're alive after they've died, and they open their eyes and they take pictures of them so that your family, like, because you know, they didn't take a lot of pictures back in the day, so sometimes people would die and they didn't have a recent picture of them, so they would take, some of these look like those. I'm honestly like, it's so creepy. I did not know that. I have not looked at this Bible. Another theory is that, I don't know, maybe my mom's side of the family like can see and hear stuff. My aunt told me a story about how she saw a ghost once of my great aunt Felipe after she died. Like, she saw it head on. I don't think she'll want to do an interview for this video, but she has told me the story, very convincing. And you know, my sisters have seen stuff, so I'm thinking maybe it runs in the family. Not that I think this is what it is. I used to make jokes that I wanted to buy a haunted mirror, and when I would go to antique shops or thrift stores or like old stuff that kept older stuff, I would look at these like really old, creepy looking like hand mirrors. And you can tell when they're old because the back of them, like, they get these spots on them, like when they've been laying still for like years because no one uses them. And that's how you can, there's a bunch of ways to tell that they're old. I used to make a joke that I wanted a haunted mirror, and my mom brought me back a very old mirror that she found at an antique store when she was in, I don't remember what state she was in. She was out of town. I'm like, cool, thanks Mom for bringing a demon into my life. But I actually lost the mirror. It's in my room somewhere and I cannot find it, which does not make me feel great. I'm really sorry if this is not the type of video you came here for. I'll be back to my usual self very soon. The part 2 for this video probably won't come out for a while. I want to try to get a camera that has autofocus to make it easier. Let me know what you want to see in a part 2 or a part 3, and maybe I'll try to cater to what my audience would like to see. I promise that I know you have no reason to believe me, but everything I've told you is totally true, and I am afraid of my house, and I'm afraid of my room, and I don't know what to do. My sister brought home blessed salt, and she put it some places, but stuff kept happening to me. So let me know in the comments below what you want part 2 to be, and feel free to subscribe so you can see my usual stuff and see if I die from the ghost in my house. All right, thanks. Goodbye.